Hello everyone, and welcome to Indianapolis for the 2018 Indiana High School Baseball Coaches Association annual red carpet show for the inductees into the class of 2018 Hall of Fame. And our first inductee is Rich Andriole. And Rich, I really appreciate your time. Congratulations on your induction. Got a little bit of your bio here. Wanted to talk a little bit about your championships. You've had several of them. Does any one of these stick out? As an example, you had 13 Indianapolis city championships, 13 IHSA sectionals, 11 regionals, 6 semi-state championships. You also won the IHSA state championship in 2001 and 2007. You got any that you favor over the other? Or are they all about the same?
I wouldn't say I favor any one over the other. No.
They were all, I mean.
They all had really good players on them.
So that
took a lot of pressure off of us.
Oh, absolutely,
yeah,
I'm sure. Can you name a few of your outstanding players through some of those championships?
Oh, absolutely. In 2001, we had a senior class that, I don't know that any one individual stood out in terms of a professional level type player at that time. Ironically, we had just graduated a player named Jake Fox, who was drafted by the Chicago Cubs out of Michigan, and then we won it the next year, which was a year that probably not a lot of people would have thought that we would have done that. And in 2006, we finished runner-up to a team out of Fort Wayne, and then won it in 2007 with a group that, again, was very similar to the 01 group. And in each of those state championships, I don't think on paper anybody would have said, man, these guys are really favored to win it. We probably on paper had better teams in other years, but those two groups got it done.
Now, you were at Cathedral, pretty prestigious school there. Got a few people that your principal, quite a nice guy from Lafayette. Can you talk a little bit about? Do you have any? And again, I don't want to steal any of your thunder for tonight's speech, but do you have anybody that obviously has helped you along the way in the field of baseball?
I was really young. When Cathedral hired me. I was 26, and my first season, I was actually 27. I did a lot of reading, a lot of studying, a lot of watching, a lot of observing. I tried really hard to keep my mouth shut and my ears open. At that time in Indianapolis, there was a coach named John Wirtz at Roncalli High School, and I always felt like, even growing up in Indy and playing, and then coming out and coaching, that he was the bar. Word he was, that Roncalli baseball was the standard. They had been to the Final Four in 1982, and so to compete against Coach Wirtz and those Roncalli teams, I learned a lot and tried to really model what they did. To be honest, I think in a way, because he and I are close, he knows that he's been a mentor type to me. In some way, one great thing about Coach Wirtz was, and I learned it early just by watching him, he was a fierce competitor between the lines. But I remember playing one time at the University of Indianapolis in the sectional, and we ended up winning. And after the game, we shook hands, and he said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I said, "Man, I got to get back to school." And he said, "Let's go get a beer." And I think it was right around those early 2000s, and that's when it kind of hit me that Coach had been around for so long. He himself is a Hall of Famer, and it was a great lesson to learn at a really young age.
Could you talk a little bit? I bring this subject up every year. Can you talk a little bit about? You're still an active coach, currently the Guerin Catholic baseball coach. But if you look at the listing of players coming out of the high schools and colleges in the state of Indiana, I think we're getting the attention of people around the country that baseball is has really improved here in the last few years in the state of Indiana. Would you agree?
No question, for sure. I always go back to 2005. The state of Indiana had, I'm going to try to get all 5 on the first go around, but the state of Indiana had Tommy Hunter, who played for us, who was pitching with the Phillies, Lance Lynn, Brett Summers, who went to Tennessee out of Lake Central, J.B. Paxson, and the 5th one was a guy out of Lafayette Harrison named Jared Lindblom, Josh Lindblom.
Yeah, thank you.
And those 5 guys, I don't ever remember having a class of caliber, you know, like those 5 before that time. So there's no doubt that, you know, Kyle Gibson was shortly after that. Of course, Josh Fagley, we could go on and on.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I know it says here you served on several committees here at the Indiana High School Baseball Coaches Association. We talked off camera about just the real strength of this organization. You would agree?
For sure. You know, it's 500-600 members every year at the clinic. Highly committed professional coaches in the state, border to border.
Last but not least, I'm not a sports reporter for any of the newspapers here in the state of Indiana, but how about an early report on your 2018 Guerin Catholic team?
I'm in year 1. Have loved the short time that I've been there. Players have been terrific and working hard, and that's, you know, about as much as I do.
Right.
I might know a little tiny bit more, but some good kids, and they bring it.
Last but not least, I haven't looked at your schedule, but is Cathedral on Guerin Catholic's schedule in 2018? And if they are, how are you going to feel about that?
We are not on each other's schedule.
Okay. Congratulations. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Sweet Lou.
This is Sweet Lou, Jeff Luzader. We'll be right back with our next inductee